Good afternoon, everyone. We're live on this week's LinkedIn Expert Speak. I'm very excited to welcome Ravindra Rai to this show. He's the Managing Director and CEO of BOBCARD Ltd. He's spearheading the transformation of BOBCARD into a leading credit card player in India. You've already probably seen the ads on UPI credit cards that BOBCARD has been really specializing. He's also a very, very unique banker in the various interactions I've had because he's worked in an international environment, he's worked in large corporate branches, but he's also seen what's happening at the rural level and the semi-urban level. Ravindra, really excited to be having this discussion. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Adil. I'm excited likewise. Thank you very much.
So, Ravindra, my first question is as follows. You've seen this industry now over 3 decades. You've also seen it at all the different levels. Help us understand where is the industry today and where it's headed, and also touch upon the mass exponential increase we're seeing in cyber frauds. So just talk us about the industry and what is happening right now.
So, if let me first touch upon the credit card industry per se. So, the credit card industry right now is going through a little bit of revamp, which I would like to imagine the way I say the credit reimagined. So, I would like to say that because with the regulators coming in very strongly on unsecured lending and also increasing the risk weightage from 125 to 150%. So, the regulators are very clear where the industry is heading. They want a real clear-cut way of taking the things forward. Probably this must be the right way forward. Well, I keep telling in most of the forums that India has got a very strong, robust regulatory system, which many people with me would disagree. But I think this is what has kept the Indian financial system up there and robust. Having said that, credit card industry is on the up. If you see off late, there has been a little bit of rough weather with the default rates going up. But I feel, this is a temporary phenomena. So once this phenomena eases out, of course, the choppy waters are there, but the choppy waters will be, cleared within, I feel within the coming 5-6 months, and then probably everything will go well. Having said that, the where the defaults have been seen, it has to be seen in a different line. Probably at those point in time, probably it was the refunding of the accounts are not been happening. So generally we have a thought process that if anybody defaults, the first thing that gets defaulted is a credit card, and then the other things goes through. So this is the thought process that I have. But also, you also touched upon to talk to me on the cyber frauds. This is another very important area. Probably, yes, today everyone is talking about it. Good that people are talking about it. But I feel we all haven't done enough for this. When I say when I haven't done enough, I put my hands up and also tell. Because as financial institutions, we all have a responsibility because India is a very diverse country. When we are just not looking at people who are in the metropolitan cities, but we are also looking at people who are in the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. And according to me, the future of India, the Bharat belongs to the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. Because see, everyone is aware if you have been, following cards, India is only around 6 to 7% of the population is carded. It's been an old saying about that. But again, if you go a little deeper into it, even in the carded population, the multi-carded population is much more, than the single-carded population. That means there is a lot of scope, for people to be bought into the card foray. But again, educating people on having a clean record when it comes to their credit history is very important. That's where education when it comes to cyber and also education when it comes to the credit history comes into the thing. So I'll just touch upon, because you gave me 2-3 questions together. So I'll just take the, cyber question first. This is a big menace today. We have to, really open our eyes, stand up and take note of this. For instance, there was a study which was conducted which said that nearly 800 credit, the 800 defaults get reported per day in India, and that's a huge number. It is called 800 frauds, online frauds get reported in India, and this is only which is registered. Try to imagine those things which has not been, not come into the, streamlined system. It must be much more than this. Having said that, you should also understand that today, 49% of the world's digital transactions happen in India. So India is an amazing country. The greater the population and the way the digital transaction has really gone through into the population, and people have accepted it well, very well. But the education when it comes to cyber security is very, very poor when it comes to India. I know about educated people, people in good positions who have been, robbed of their savings, of their credit card, of their money in their account, and this is a known thing that is there. Uh, but yeah, then
Go ahead, Ravindra.
yeah, yeah. So, but what I want to really bring it to the focus here is the people in the tier two, tier three cities who are very gullible people who are there, who are doing their transactions on the mobile phones and the smartphones, but they are not aware what to press, what not to press. Most of this, cyber attacks or cyber crimes happen on a link that is sent to you. So usually these, cyber crimes happen in three ways, mostly through the, malicious malwares, or, people luring you into it, where, a link is sent to you, or even voluntarily, there are people who give out their, uh, OTPs. But I feel this broadly, if you see the cyber, frauds happen in two ways. One is emotional, and one is greed. When I say emotional, it is, in today's world, one of the main thing that comes through is there is a call which emanates to you saying that, there is a package which has been sent by you, which has been confiscated at the, probably by the police or the CBI or at the port, and it is being seen there some contrabands are there, so you have to pay up, and they bring them in such a position where a new thing which is common, which is called as a digital arrest, comes into the thing. And many of the people, mostly this is really targeted towards senior citizens. So one of the cases that was discussed here was one of the senior citizens got a call where, it was told that their son has met in an accident, and they tried reaching out their son. The son's phone was not reachable, and they had to, really, start telling that if you want to do something for him, he's admitted, you send some money to the hospital. See, these are the ways and means that people, get into the fraudulent part and get them emotionally into the scheme of things. Second is the greed part. Greed part is a known thing where, there is a call which comes in and tells that you have won so much of things, or so much of money has to be sent, so that the X amount of money can be transferred to your funds. So these are broadly the few of the cyber kind of frauds that happen.
Excellent answer, Ravindra. Now let's double click on that. I thought you gave a really nice framework, right? There is what is emotional, and there is what is greed. Now, here are my next set of two questions. One is, in the newspaper, we read someone lost 18 lakhs, a techie from Hyderabad. Some businessman lost 50 lakhs. But you have a ringside view as the MD and CEO of a leading card company. What's happening in the middle class, in people, who are maybe not that well educated or high income? Tell us what fraud is happening there, firstly. Second, tell us, right, now that we know what the attack is, how are you helping consumers or educating them to prevent getting ensnared in this fraud?
It's a, very, very pertinent question, because we keep reading on the papers of this high profile frauds that happen, about the lakhs and lakhs of rupees that has been lost. Of course it is painful, but sometimes I feel although these frauds happen, people although these frauds happen, people do not really lose out on their homes, but you should really get into the tier 2, tier 3 cities. That is where the real thing is, because probably there might be a, person who has just saved some money and kept in his account, which gets wiped off, and this must be a saving for life. This is a saving for life. many of these cases we have seen, because I had the opportunity of working in a rural and a semi-urban center where we conducted the call that we have today. We conducted a call along with the cybersecurity police, which I was telling you the last time around when we spoke to, with the cybersecurity department, with the police department, and we had calls coming from small cities, small, because they had just lost some money. They didn't know what to do, where to go, how to report. So this is exactly what I told you. When you get 800 such cases getting reported in India, there are many such cases which goes unreported. So as BOBCARD, what we are doing, we have started doing some activities, something like a cyber safety school activity. So we have targeted around 40-50 schools in and around Mumbai, around 10 to 12 schools in Delhi, and these are all schools at the suburban areas where we want to try to educate this young students, especially the girl children, so that like there's a saying, you educate one girl and educate one boy, the boy is educated. You educate one girl, the family gets educated. So that's the reason why we look at the girls, girl students or girls being educated, so that they can spread around and get a lot of understanding about what the cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is a big thing with when it comes to school. A lot of morphing happens. It's an excitement when you give a smartphone to a child, or when a child gets into the internet. It's a big excitement, but a lot of other things that happens. So these are things that we are doing, mostly into the schools where people are getting into their 12th, 13th and above. In these schools we're going and doing it. Then again, we have something called a digital Sri Shakti. We are more inclined towards the women aspect of it, women education, digital Sri Shaktis, where we are getting into, and a cyber Saki. We have got into something called a cyber Saki, where we have more than 12,000 college girls who are being educated on this, and mostly where near the underprivileged areas where we're going in, because today the UPIs of the world is accessible anywhere and to everyone today. So that is where we want to get in to make it very clear. And also a few places uh, where the scholar where we give some scholarships to these kids, and that is again places where we go and get this educated. So we have tied up with multiple NGOs to see to it that they get a lot of visibility with what is happening in the world when it comes to cyber crimes.
Fantastic. That's great work on both cyber security and women's empowerment. Now, when fraud happens, what we typically advise consumers is take three steps. So, one is talk to your issuer and say that something went wrong. Then file a complaint in the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, and then, if required, an FIR. But if you were to just tell people what is the most important thing, right? Most important thing, Ravindra, what would you tell the 50 million consumers out there if they have been or being attacked? What is the most important thing they should be aware of?
When we found out, when we did a research and also a study within, we could find out is most of the cases, it is always participative. So it is either sharing of the, OTPs, or somewhere where the people have been led into doing things like this. The first and foremost thing I would request everyone to be aware. Awareness is the most important thing. If there is awareness, I think all these things can be stopped. But having said that, sometimes what happens, it just goes beyond that, and people also fall prey to this. So when you fall prey, sometimes there is a inhibition that should I tell it to my friend or tell it to my other peers or people. How will people take it? Although I'm an educated person, how did I fall for it? There is nothing. Anything can happen to everyone. So let's first and foremost bring it to the notice. Bring it to the notice. If it's a card one, bring it to the notice the issuer or everyone. And also having a cyber registering the cyber complaint is the most important thing, so that this menace will really come down. So it's all about educating yourself, educating others, also having clarity about when something like this happens. The sooner, it's called the golden hour, the sooner you communicate with your issuer or with the cyber, the more chances of you recovering the money back.
Got it. And Ravindra, what we or India has done with this cyber fraud reporting, and you mentioned 800 of these fraud complaints every day, right? It appears that India is taking this problem seriously, and it appears that pulling in all the stakeholders, because there's so many of them, right? There is the issuer, there's the acquirer, there's a customer, there's a payment. It seems as if we are doing some good work here, but you're a hands-on expert. Just give us some view, right, on how this national cybercrime reporting is developing in India, and what do you think about this?
Big way, big way. There is a huge impetus from the government, from the central government itself. You'll be surprised if I say when recently you must have read about the perpetrated attack towards financial institutes from different countries. So this was taken so seriously. As late as night 11:30 to 12, we all were called into a call and made sure that things in our systems are perfect. And we had continuously for more than a month we were really monitoring the systems, how they were behaving. Even if a small change was there, we had to report. The same thing with the banks also. So the government has taken this very, very seriously, especially when it comes to the frauds and when it comes to the cybercrime, because the impact is much more. The reputation risk, the financial risk is massive. That's exactly why the government has taken huge step towards this, and the reporting of these crimes, where there's very structured way today, and it's not like any other thana that you go and wait. Today, your cyber police stations are very, very well equipped, and they're very friendly when they come when it comes to this. These are few good steps which has been taken by the government to thwart this out.
No, that's quite exciting, right? To hear, an industry expert say that they appreciate how the government is coming together, because clearly, right, the problem has so many facets, right? There is the telecom angle, there is the emotional angle, then there is the follow up, and I'm really excited that a leader would speak so highly of the government's efforts. We'll change tracks a little bit. You spoke about the focus on women's empowerment and why you're passionate about it. Now, I also know, and congratulations on roping in the cricket sensation, right, Shafali Verma, to be your brand ambassador. But I understand that you have products which you're coming out for women, right? Now, Ravindra, are women sufficiently empowered financially? Access to finance is available today. And tell us about how you think we can do a better job of increasing financial access for women.
Uh, Adil, I know here I would like to just correct you. We just roped in Shriyanka Patil as one of our brand ambassadors. So this is exclusively for the card base, that is the Bob card. Shriyanka, we have roped in because she's the young peppy girl who really represents what our organization is all about. Uh, Having said that, the empowerment, I have a little problem when we say we are empowering women. I feel women in India are already empowered. We just making that small contribution towards how we can help women. It's like the proverbial squirrel which did its part when the Ram Setu was being built. It's just a small thing that I know what we are doing towards women's betterment. Uh, in that line, what we have also done is we have just launched a women-centric card from our stable, which is called as Tiara. And this is a very challenging thing because for us this particular card is very emotional for us, because our pitch on this is more emotional rather than it is anything else. See, if you sit back and think, women in India are mostly, anything that comes in is secondary. Everything that comes in for them is primary, but other than themselves. So if women put their family, father, mother, husband, wife, husband, children, anyone ahead of them. So this is where we come in. So we were thinking that women also, like if you're flying, what does the safety attendant say? First you cover your face with oxygen, and then do it to your co-passenger or your child. So you need to take care of yourself first. So in that lines, this is what we have built. The Tiara card which we have built it is much to do with health and wellness, where there is an insurance cover, where there is a health package, where they go and get themselves checked, which is free, of course, which they get every year, where they get a maybe the mammography or a pap smear, any test that is very much required for a woman's well-being. Second is a lot of lifestyle, which is added into it, travel, entertainment. So this is very holistic card. So we're very excited about bringing out this card. Having said that, we're also looking at, this is just in the discussion phase. Probably at the SIF level or at the spend level, we might also, take a little bit of, take a little bit of amount from that, keep it aside, for women development and women welfare. Uh, lots and lots to talk about, empowerment women, not only in the card side that we're doing internally, internally also within BOBCARD. There are a few initiatives that we have taken, and I think, I'm happy to say that internally what we have done, all the women, we're really promoting women leaders in our organization, and all the women who want to empower themselves into a leadership position, or get into a new course. The organization gives them a five day, leave from the organization, that they can go write these exams, empower them. This is what we're doing. This is an important aspect, because what we are missing is the women leaders that we need, and this is the way forward. Along with that, also what we are doing is what we felt, during whenever their wards are in the 10th and 12th standard. That's a very sensitive time for the parents, mostly so for the mothers who take a lot of care of their children for education. So from our organization, we give them a 5 days off during the examination to take care of this. So these are the few initiatives that we have done to promoting towards women well-being and women leadership.
Yes, congratulations on Shreyanka Patel as the brand ambassador, and
Thank you.
having the Tiara card. I think is very important because today everyone has heard of the women's home loan, but I don't think so many people have heard about a women's credit card. And kudos to Bob Card for really pushing that message out. Now let's come to the last topic, Ravindra. This is reimagining credit, right? And this is one of the key missions that you've taken on for Bob Card. It's very important. Now, you do a lot of work in UPI on credit card. Is that the main element of reimagining credit for India, giving access to every Indian? What are the other elements of this reimagination?
Uh, well, Adil, this is one of them. The UPI has got a reach. The beauty of CC on UPI is the reach that gets all the tier two, tier three, tier four cities. Today, you are not dependent on those old EDC machines, or the POS machines with which you do the transactions. Today, a QR code is enough where you can do these transactions. So this is where the UPI has empowered everyone, and that is where we as BobCard also talk about reimagining credit. When we say reimagining credit, we also want to bring in people from different, for different aspects of the country, different places of the country, aspects of the country, and also from the tier two, tier three, tier four, places into our fold. So what the post-pandemic has taught us that life is not there only in the metros. It is there everywhere, and we have good people in and around those places who have been a little neglected. I should say ignored, but neglected. So this is the area which we are looking at, and once these people in these areas are educated on their credit history, retention and maintenance of their credit history, I think this is a great place for the credit cards to be, and this is where we reimagine credit.
Got it. And tell me, Ravindra, just because you have again the hands-on experience, when we're looking to sell or to give access in tier three, four, right? Is it using technology and just using the India stack? Does it require a different approach in terms of policy? Like you have seen and successfully built this business, but for others, right, what is key to being able to do this successfully?
I feel education. Education is the key. See, and I keep telling this in every forum, is unless and until you educate our consumers, they will not be aware. Even today, average consumer or average customer, if you ask them, they're not sure why you need to pay on time. Although they have the money with them, they're not sure why they need to pay on time. This is a great learning for us. Educating people on maintaining a good credit line or credit history is the most important thing. If we break that, and it is mine and your responsibility collectively, that we make people aware of this, and then this country is going to different place.
Right. See, that's a very interesting insight because I thought you would say, right? I was hoping you wouldn't, but I thought you would say maybe branches. Then I thought maybe you'll say technology, but you actually said educating people on how to use a product, how to improve their credit score. Education is actually the most important, Ravindra.
100%. I definitely feel education is very important. And then see, once education comes in your technology, there is no barrier. Once you have an educated, once you have an educated people there, when it comes to this, technology is, you have seen during the pandemic how this country adopted to technology. It is there out for you to see, because people never thought that this country can adopt to technology as it took to technology during the pandemic. So you will be surprised with the people of this country how adaptable they are. And of course, if the right things are told to them, this country is going in a different direction. People are there to understand. Only thing, as I told you again, it is the educating part that is more important, which I feel, because I worked as you rightly said initially, I've worked in the rural areas, semi-urban, metros, everywhere. But that is what I found when we worked during that places. It is understanding of things. But today, if when you go to a rural area and tell them you share me a OTP, they're very very clearly OTP. Yeah, here it goes. They do not know the implications. That's because they're not aware. So creating that awareness is very important.
Got it. And when we look at tier 3, 4, is the consumer we're talking to, right? The way they're using their credit card, is it very different from what we see, let's say, in the metro areas? And if you look out on UPI on credit card, right, today compared to, let's say, the larger networks, it's starting from a smaller base. But tell us, if we look at UPI on credit card 5 years from now, what is happening on both these fronts, Ravindra?
Well, so there are a lot of e-com transactions which happens, from these places. Definitely e-com, and slowly the food, the Swiggies of the world are also there. So this is happening there. The e-com is a big contributor there, but this is definitely on an upward trend. The UPI is definitely going to take the credit card to another level. Of course, as you rightly said, and it has been documented, we will be doubling our credit cards by 28, 29, and I'm sure that is definitely going to happen.
Understood. Um, Great. Uh, in terms of fraud, right? And we'll close up on this important topic. You've been talking about the potential for the industry to come together and build a fraud prevention or a fraud centralized system. Just tell us about your thoughts on this front as we wrap up this conversation.
Yes, Adil. I think this is one thing we all need to build, and this is an important thing, because if everyone from the industry get together and we have a repository, this would be a great thing, because there is a repetitive thing what happens, because India is a large country. Probably what is happening in UP would be the similar thing what is happening in probably Kerala. But because these are different places, it is not getting registered. Of course, in bits and pieces it gets. So if there is a repository kind of a thing where this kind of a things are happening, and those numbers, for instance, the best news we have heard of late is the government which has insisted that all the call centers of the banks will be going from a particular number. So that's a great initiative, believe me. This will solve a lot of problem, because even we are aware that many calls go out in different numbers, talking about different, we are calling you from this bank or this particular organization, which goes, which is really uncontrolled and rampant. So So the initiatives like this, although it has come a little slow, but these initiatives will go a long way in protecting people.
Thank you, Ravindra. We could have gone on, but we're at the end of 30 minutes. I must say, right, it's really refreshing to hear from someone who's had experiences dealing with these multiple markets, right? And truly, when we provide access of these products in rural areas, when we ensure that we make it easier, right, for women to access this product, the push that BOBCARD has done on UPI. I think these are all nation building efforts. We commend you on your work. We look forward to more such interaction. And the main thing I leave this with, right, is education is actually the key to everything. I think that this is the main idea I leave with. Thank you so much for sharing your candid thoughts, Ravindra.
Thank you, Adil. Thank you for having me over. Thank you very much.
Thank you.